Welcome to the first ever R3 podcast episode. My name is Ryan Prazer, and why am I here? I'll tell you for why. I'm here to talk about some real, respectable reasons to be alive and to love the life we live. It's a chance for me to check in with you, the world, after shutting myself into isolation for the past few weeks. Now, these times are unprecedented. You know, we've never had anything like this happen to us in our lifetimes. So I'll just let you know I'm filming this around week 4 of quarantine in Prague. So what have I been doing? Honestly, resting. This is a chance, like I say, the podcast here, I'm going to be talking to you about lots of stuff. Games, movies, my life, and generally life. For me, the quarantine sort of signaled a moment to stop, to recover, to sort of rebuild my physical and mental health, you know, after opening R3 Bar in November of last year. If you don't know already, I am running a bar and arts venue, or have been trying to, in Žižkov in Prague. Now, R3 Bar is a place where basically community arts come to life, but it's taken a long process to get there. And after 6-7 months of non-stop, I took the quarantine to just rest. I've been sleeping, I've been working on myself, and I want to talk a little bit about the process of opening R3 Bar, and you will get that in future episodes, all right? For now, I know what you're all thinking. I know what you all want to know. I've been thinking about it myself. It's everywhere. It's something that really can't be avoided. But no, I haven't watched Tiger King yet. I plan to. Joe Exotic's everywhere. He's a celebrity, an international treasure by this point. But I have better things to do, I think. I think the drama of Tiger King is nothing compared to my favorite medium, which is pro wrestling. We'll talk a little bit about pro wrestling later on in the podcast. But here I am on my own little set that I've made in the bar with my PS2 games here, just so that I can remind myself what I've been playing, how lucky I am to have something that is got replayable value. You know, the PS2 is an era of video games where you can just pick up and play and go back to it, even if you've not played something in a year, or if you played it yesterday, you can still go back and play it. There's so many games on that console specifically that are awesome, just generally. Yeah. So I have my video games here. I've got my little pet tiger. He's one of my close friends in this quarantine. We've been getting very close. He's been all over me, you know. Is Mr. Donald. He's a good friend of mine, Mr. Drumpf. I'll tell you a story, actually, about Mr. Trump. So he was given to me by my favorite rap metal rock artist called Otep Shemaya. I went to visit her in a concert here, I think it was a year and a half ago, in Futurum. It's a good venue. Hopefully they'll survive during these times too. A lot of places won't. But yeah, I went to see Otep with a good friend of mine, Tolis. I hope he's all right too. And we got to see Otep in concert. It was phenomenal. There was some crazy stuff that happened during that event itself. You know, some guy decided that he would shout abuse and heckle Otep on stage. Now, this is a woman who is famous for being a lesbian activist, vegan rights, animal rights activist, and basically, you don't fuck with her, man. Don't fuck with her. And this guy decided it would be funny to shout some expletives at her. Show me your vagina. So Otep did no more. She said, "Who said that?" The guy got pushed to the front by me. I said, this guy right here, he decides to come to your concert and then shout something so stupid. So she did no more. She punched him in the face. She punched him in the face so hard that his orbital bone started leaking blood, and I've never seen anything like it at a concert. To be honest, she was well within her rights to do so. He was disgusting, he was drunk, and he had no right being there. You know, there's people that have paid money to see this artist live, and he's there to ruin the experience for everyone else. So he had it coming, in my opinion. And there was another girl who went to touch her after the concert, who was groping her during it, and she got fed up, so she punched her too. Now there's a video online that OTEP's sort of posted about this experience in Prague a year ago or whatever. She had a bad time, a real bad time here, and I'm disappointed because she probably won't come back again. So if this sounds like you, or it sounds like a person you know, a heckler, someone that goes to a concert to shout abuse at the artist, punch him in the face for me. Thanks. But yeah, OTEP, I met her after the concert and I said, yo, that's crazy. This sort of stuff never happens in Prague. The Czech people and the expats that live here, in my experience, are some of the most loving and most accepting of all people on the planet. And that's legit. That's legit. The people here, they actually care. So when this happened, I was shocked, and I went over to her after the concert and I was apologizing profusely on behalf of the city I live in, not even my city, you know. She goes, "It's cool, dude, don't worry about it. Hey, have you checked out the merch table?" And I'm like, yeah. Personally, I was wondering about this Trump head that you pulled out on stage. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I've had him for the whole tour." And I'm like, "Well, it's the last show of your tour, isn't it?" And she's like, "Actually, yeah, it is. And some of her crew, like, she disappeared then, but some of her crew came back out. I was like, "Hey, OTEP wanted me to say, do you want this?" She says, "It's 500 crowns, you know?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Do I want it?" And they're like, yeah, the Trump head. Does anyone want it? Like, she shouted, "Does anybody want it?" And I'm like, yeah, don't give it to anybody else. Don't give it to anybody else. I got the 500 crowns, and now I have my very own Donald Trump head. I don't know why I'm proud of it, but I am. It's something that is pretty funny to me. But anyway, Donald's here, my guitar, my new melodica's here, and later on in the show I will perform a song for you just to keep spirits up and keep me doing something, you know? There's got to be some kind of checks and some kind of normality in these weird times. All right, so you've met my friends, you've met my set, you've met me. Now, I'm going to talk about what I've actually been doing during quarantine. So part one of this podcast is going to be gaming. All right. Now, video games. Video games are my shit. I love them. Some of you know, most of you who watch this will probably know. I got lots of consoles in my bar. I live here, so it's my house, you know. I have a Nintendo Switch, a PS2, a PS1 Classic, a Super Nintendo Classic, 3 PCs to play from, and what else do I have? Yeah, I think that's it. Lots and lots of games. But what have I been playing? Animal Crossing. Believe it or not, I've been farming. I've been trapped on my own little desert island. We call it Pen Island. And my character, Respecty, has built his own little island, and there's nothing much to do in this game. It's just a simulator game, all right? If you haven't played it, if you don't know what Animal Crossing is, Animal Crossing New Horizons is on the Switch. It was released earlier this year. It's a Nintendo game, exclusive title for Nintendo. There's been previous ones. And basically, you design your island, you design your house, and you have little cute friends that pop up on your island, and it's about how you interact with them and how you satisfy their needs on the island. It's a nothing game, in the sense that you can't win it. There is no victory, there is no enemies, there is no fighting in it. It's just go around, chop some trees, collect some materials, and then build your perfect little island. It's lovely. It's a good reprieve from the times we're having, and if you haven't got it yet, I highly recommend it. It's a 4 out of 5 game for now. I think that in the next couple of months the novelty of it will wear off. But Animal Crossing is available on the Switch store. If you want to buy it, it's maybe 1,500 crowns, something like this. Well worth the money for this time of your life. If you are not into sim games, do not get it. It will not satisfy you. Now, there's a big debate going on online about this game, about the concept of time traveling. Now, basically, this means if you've ever had a tap simulator on your phone, for example, a tap game, Simpsons Tapped Out, or whatever it is, the idea is that certain things are locked behind a time wall. Now, you have to wait 2 or 3 days before you can get the next upgrade for your house or your village or the shop in the village. But there is a way, I'm not going to discuss it here, that you can time travel and essentially make those things happen quicker. I have done it, I have tested it, and it does take away the enjoyment of the game if you are there to enjoy the atmosphere of the game and to just mindlessly waste some time. However, if you are looking for some kind of progression, I would say don't buy this game in the first place. But time travel is an actual way to speed up progress. And the owners of the game, the developers of the game, have come out and said that time travel is a legitimate way to play the game. You will miss some stuff, but it's up to you. Personally, I see the benefits of it. I've done it. And I will say to you, it is not worth it in the long run. It takes away the enjoyment of the game, and it takes away the desire to want to play again and again and again. If you, for example, complete all of the upgrades in 3 weeks, well, there's not much else for you to do until the next season comes around. This game is set in real time. It follows the real time of the real world and the real seasons. Different things are available in winter and summer. So if you're time traveling through all of that, there's no point really. You're going to get the perfect island. You're going to get to build exactly what you want, but I guess it's the journey that actually matters for this game. Moving on a little bit. So Animal Crossing, 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5, kind of decent game depending on the times that you spend with it. So you can do it every day for 2 hours and it will be a wonderful little treat for you. You know, you get to relax on the island, or you can spend all day, play online, play with other people, and that's another way to beef up the content of the game here. But in terms of enjoying the game, a couple of hours a day is probably the way to do it. Okay, the next game that has been kicking my ass in terms of time, in terms of I'm swearing at a screen all day, is Fortnite. Free to play battle royale game. It's available on most consoles and everything else. Now, it's been out for a couple of years, but season 2 has just come out on this game. Basically, you can enjoy it for free. It's a 100 player per game kind of thing, massive battle royale type thing. It's nothing special. You've seen it before. You've played it before with a different skin. It's every game you've ever played with a shooter, and you can build a little bit in there. You can build like little structures to protect yourself. It's nothing special, but it's fun, it's addictive, and it's got good graphics. Like it's fun, and the visuals of it are something that can never really age, I would say. There's certain types of animation that will look old after a while, and this one, I think it will kind of last. Fortnite's good. There's not much else to say about Fortnite. I'm just saying, I've been playing a lot. If you want to play, my tag is Respect Reaper, R3 both times, Respect Reaper. Find me on Switch, and maybe we can play something together. Same with Animal Crossing. If you want to play that with me, get in touch, message me, send me a comment in the chat. And then the other game I would like to talk about with you is Time Splitters. And it is right here. Time Splitters. The original first game for the PS2. I've been playing that pretty much every day, once or twice a day. just doing some challenges. Again, it's a kind of shooter. It's very, very basic though. It's something similar to Half-Life or Counter-Strike or Team Fortress, where it's a run and gun. You run, you gun something, you collect something, and you run back to the checkpoint. It's 4 or 5 minutes installments. It's much smaller than modern games, and out of all three of the games that I've mentioned, I think Time Splitters is my favorite. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 because there is so much content on it. You can deathmatch on it, you can capture the flag, all of this typical first-person shooter modes, you'll find it on this game before it went anywhere else pretty much, all right? And it's good for couch co-op. You can play a story mode with one of your friends or neighbors. And you can play the challenge mode, which is, for example, kill 100 ducks in 4 minutes. I'm going to kill some ducks. I'll take 4 minutes. If I don't do it the first time, I'll take 40 minutes. I'll keep doing it. It's fun. It's really, really short bursts of fun. And the animation style is, it's blocky. It's really blocky. It's not pretty, but it's fun. It's fun, and that is, after all, what we need from our entertainment, from our video games, and from our escapism. So, Time Splitters, 5 out of 5. Animal Crossing, 3 or a 4. A 4 during quarantine, a 3 if it's a normal time. I wouldn't normally be playing it, I would say. But Fortnite, again, that is I'd say a 3 out of 5 game. Just pick up and play. It's time consuming. There isn't much in terms of progression, but then Time Splitters has all of that, plus more. It has elements of where you unlock stuff, which is really, really good. It's the more you play, the more you find, the more secrets you unlock, and there's a huge list of secrets there for you to find. Secrets are cool, but you know what's even cooler are movies. Part 2 of the podcast. What movies have I been watching recently? There's been a few. I'm a massive sci-fi and fantasy fan. I'm also, of course, a fan of anything in the MCU, DC universe. I like comic book movies. I like action movies that have roots in another IP, you know, some intellectual property. Like, for example, the Joker. Let's go with the Joker. Now, Joaquin Phoenix in Gotham City, mentally troubled comedian Arthur Fleck is disregarded and mistreated by society. He then embarks on a downward spiral of revolution and bloody crime. This path brings him face to face with his alter ego, the Joker. Now, this is taken from IMDb's write-up of the Joker movie for 2019. Lots of people have seen it. Lots of people had a lot of comment from it when it was in the cinema. But this movie, for me, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because it portrays mental health and somebody under a guise, maybe, or under the strain of impaired mental health, should we say it that way. It shows somebody like that, and it shows their struggle. It shows them being knocked down and beaten by society, and beaten and beaten and beaten. But what it never does is show the redemptive moment for that character before they turn into the monster. So for me, Arthur Fleck is disregarded as a monster, and throughout the story, he becomes that monster. Now, that is tragic, that is sad, that is a good story, but I don't believe that's the story they should have told with this movie. If you haven't seen it, we're about to go into spoiler territory in 3, 2, 1. So at the end of the movie, the Joker shoots the chat show host that he has been idolizing, looking up to as a kind of father figure throughout the rest of the movie. He appears on the set, and it's billed to be the biggest moment of his life. You know, it's a redemptive moment, possibly, for the character. You know, he's done some psychopathic things, he's killed some people, and all the movie tries to do is make you sympathize with the character. And then at the end of the movie, your sympathy is thrown away. Your sympathy leaves you questioning yourself, whether you should have been sympathetic to this madman, whether you should have been investing in this character as a protagonist. I don't think Arthur Fleck is a protagonist. I don't think he is the hero of his own movie. I don't think this is a hero or villain movie. I think this is a dark movie. I think this is a very disturbing movie. And I think that because it got a lot of praise and hype, that it's been seen by a lot of people, which is good. That is good because it creates this dialogue, it creates this discussion, especially with the internet now. Everybody's discussing everything, reviewing everything. For me personally, I didn't like the film. I think it made me feel dirty afterwards. I think that it portrays mentally health people as specifically on another side of a divide from the rest of society. And yes, they have been. Yes, they are marginalized and prosecuted in different ways throughout modern society. Anybody with mental health issues has felt this, has seen this, has experienced this. My problem then comes with there not being a redemptive feature of Arthur Fleck. We have to have some reason to like the heroes in our movies. Otherwise, they are just murderers. A hero is someone who gets other people killed. All right, that's a line from Serenity. Google it, Joss Whedon. But yeah, a hero is someone that we want to be, is someone that we want to follow, is someone that we want to support and believe in. Arthur Fleck, or the Joker, is not. I don't want to believe in a character like this. I don't want to see a character like this in the real world. I don't want to see somebody go on late night TV and shoot Trevor Noah in the face. You know what I mean? No one wants to see this. But it's cinema, so it can be done. It was done. It was a 2-hour-long movie, which was far too long in my opinion. But it's good. Not as good as people say, not as good as the world will claim it is. But that's my take on the Joker. For me, personally, 3.5 out of 5. Good movie, very well made, but it took the point of it the wrong way. That's just me. What do you think of the Joker? Put it in the comments, send me a message, let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. Another film, we're going to keep with the superheroes, the Marvel DC universe I saw recently was Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. All right. Let me see if I can get the basic plot. Okay, so we didn't get that. So Birds of Prey is the Harley Quinn movie. It was released 2020, and yes, I've seen it in the cinema before. It was quarantine time. Now, what happens in this movie? It sort of follows on from the Suicide Squad. It's kind of a follow-up from that movie. When was the Suicide Squad? A few years ago now. 2016, I believe. So yeah, after splitting with the Joker, Harley Quinn joins superheroes Black Canary, Huntress, and Renee Montoya to save a young girl from an evil crime lord. Now, this film overall, if you haven't seen it, it's very good. It's fun. It's kind of what you'd expect from a band of heroes get-together movie, but it's very meta, and again, you'd expect that of this era, the 2020 period. There is lots of fourth wall breaking, meta commentary on other parts of the universe and on life. Harley quite often breaks character and comes to speak to you, the crowd. There's a narration thread going through the whole movie. But what it's about, she breaks up with a boyfriend, everybody's after her, and then she gets involved in series of plots and unfortunate events that lead her to these other women, her birds of prey. The movie serves in purpose to make you love Harley Quinn. It's probably based on a comic. I don't know the comic myself. I'm not a big comic reader. I much prefer cinema and written commentaries on these things, reviews on these things. I've not read a comic in maybe 6 years. But Birds of Prey, it was a fun movie. It gets you in at the start by hooking you from all of the best parts of Suicide Squad, the most influential parts of Suicide Squad, that being Harley Quinn and the Joker and their twisted relationship. And of course, the sexualization of Harley. Margot Robbie does a brilliant job. She is a great Harley Quinn. Probably one of the best actresses of our generation that's gonna have a serious body of work by the time she retires. Yeah, generally the plot of the movie escapes me. There is not really significant moments that will stick out in your head for this movie. You just, yeah, it was good. Yeah, you know, standard, enjoyable fantasy cinema comic book movie. All right, it's an hour and 49 minutes. It's a lot shorter than a lot of other films that are out there right now, which means it's kind of bearable. It saves itself from going on too long. There's a few good scenes there with the sandwich. Is very, very fun, because why does she care about this sandwich so much? It's the only thing she does care about in the whole movie is the sandwich. And then you learn that no, she does care about some things. So it is a different kind of protagonist journey. Now this one, in terms of that journey, I very much appreciate it. Harley Quinn has character development from the start of the movie to the end of the movie. She starts as a broken alcoholic, done wrong by woman that goes out to destroy every trace of her ex and the person that kind of ruined her. But this is kind of self-destructive on another level, because when she does that, when she tells people that she broke up with the Joker, the whole world comes after her because she's no longer under his protection. All right, so it's about, oh, she's a little girl stepping out into a brave new world, something like this. We get a bit of history about Harley and her journey with the Joker, and then it goes straight into action. It's all deception, gangs, and it's all shot in a fun way. It's not too serious. It doesn't take itself seriously as a film. It's exactly what it needs to be. All right. So in my opinion, Birds of Prey gets a solid 4 out of 5. Good movie. I will definitely watch it again. And I recommend you do the same if you can. Okay. That's just 2 movies that I can think of. I've also watched some more, but none that I would really recommend to you. Unless you are into Godzilla, in which case go and watch all of the Godzilla. Apart from movies, apart from video games, what else have I been doing during quarantine? Well, R3 is a big place. All right, there's a lot of stuff here I could be doing, but what I have been doing a little bit every day is exercising. Ooh, exercising, you say? How? Ryan Prazer doing an exercise? What? I know. A lot of you already know I am a massive fan of pro wrestling. I mentioned it earlier in the podcast, but I'm going to mention it again. Working out doesn't have to be a meathead thing. It doesn't have to be for you to aim for a certain goal. It doesn't have to be for you to get 6-pack abs. It doesn't have to be for you to get those big guns. Working out is for you. It's for you. It's for you to feel a bit better about yourself, to feel like you've done something, and for your body to kind of wake up, to kind of get some stimulation that it wouldn't normally get. All right, so exercise is important. It's not as important as some people have you believe, as in you do not have to do 3 hours of gym every day for it to be classed as doing exercise. No, nothing like that. Walk up the stairs 5-6 times a day. That's exercise. It's better than nothing. I always say doing something half-assed is better than not doing it at all. All right. So this is a half-assed podcast. I was going to do it with 3 cameras, but this is better than not doing it at all. I've got 3 on the way for you. All right. So exercising, you test yourself. All right. You find things that you can't do, that you don't know how to do, and you try and work out a way to get there. I see exercise as another video game. You're working on certain stats to get other stats and rewards later on if you continue. All right. So I do my stretches. I do basic CrossFit type workouts, all with body weight. Yeah. I need no equipment for anything I do. There's a very good trainer. I follow his workout routine sometimes. It's called Jeff Cavalier. It's athleanx.com. They have videos on YouTube, and basically it just shows you some body weight exercises. If you're stuck, if you don't know how to exercise at home, I can maybe give you some tips, or Jeff Cavalier has plenty of videos online. But no matter your size, no matter your shape, no matter how much you drink, eat, whatever, smoke, do drugs, whatever you do, you can still exercise. You don't have to. I'm not saying that you should, that you have to, but you can, and there is a way that you can every day or every week, and you will feel better about it. And the more you start to do it, the more you will want to do it, because you will realize that it is pretty good for you. It does feel good when you can get to it. Now, I understand very well that you can't necessarily find the motivation in these times, but what else are you going to fucking do, really, that's going to make you feel good? Yeah. It's one of few things that can make you feel good and make you feel energized. It's just doing a bit of a stretch. Yeah. So one day, if anybody's interested, drop me a message and I can show you some stretches. I can send you some links, and I can put you in touch with a program called DDP Yoga. Now, this is something that I will preach about until the cows come home. It's Diamond Dallas Page. He is a former professional wrestler. Professional wrestling as in the theater entertainment of sports, all right? Sports entertainment. DDP, he started his wrestling career at 35. He became world champion later on. He was never into wrestling, and he's done yoga for most of his life. He invented his own style of yoga based on this. Now, in his later life, he's in his 60s or something now, he decided to pass on his stretching because he never got injured. Not in one match did he get injured. And he started his career 35 before your body is used to after your body should be used to taking bumps, to hurting itself, He started very late, and DDP started this program, DDP Yoga, where he will just give people alternative ways to work out, to use their skill set, to use their body in order to support their body weight, to stretch the muscles, to expand your body and expand your mental capacity about what your body can do. All right. So he makes you believe that you can do something. All right. He's really, really good. No matter what it is, if you can't do 10-star jumps, with 20 minutes of watching a DDP video, you'll be able to do 50-star jumps. All right. This is my personal belief. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but he has lots of different programs and it's versatile, which means that you can sort of mend it to what you need. All right. Or you can just take the free stuff and do bits here and there, which is what I do. All right. Take a little bit from this guy, take a little bit from this guy, because that's what works for me. It may work for you. Try it out. There's never a reason not to try something. All right. You only live once. I know that. But now I'm going to bring it on to a separate thing from the exercise, but not really a separate thing, because I'm going to tell you a reason that you should like wrestling. Now, pro wrestling is my favorite form of art. It is gladiators and gods fighting in the arena for pride and power. All right, it's all of that, except it's staged and it's safe. Yeah, nobody is planned to get hurt or damaged or injured in any match. There will be everything agreed upon beforehand. All right, so there will be a good character and a bad character, typical antagonist, protagonist, good guy, bad guy. We call it face, good, heel, bad. All right, and reasons you should like wrestling. Number one is because it's exactly the same as any comic book story movie you've ever seen. It's a hero versus a villain, and it's about how the hero overcomes the villain with all of their character history, using all of their backstory, using all of the matches they've ever had before. How do they overcome the obstacle in front of them? It's not about who wins or loses, it's about how they get there, the story they tell on the way. Now, yes, obviously the end of that match is important because it decides who goes on and informs the next story. But the reason you should like wrestling is because it's unlike any other art form. These characters are alive every single day because the actors, they are working the character on Twitter, they're on Facebook, they're doing interviews, they're doing YouTube stuff every single day as the character to progress storylines, to progress the match that's coming next. And every week there are at least 3 shows. This is just from WWE, right? That's one company produces 3 wrestling shows a week of at least 2 hours each. Yeah. So this is like a Marvel movie every week, maybe 2 every week that I'm watching, with good guys and bad guys and stories and sadness and lessons to be learned, and above all else, pageantry. It's fun, it's bright, it's stupid. If you like pageantry, if you like live TV, if you like drama, and if you like to watch something ridiculous like Tiger King, maybe you should give wrestling a try. Now, I'm going to give you 2 options where you can start looking at something that happened this past weekend at WrestleMania 36. The Undertaker buried AJ Styles at WrestleMania in a boneyard match. Now, if you know what an Undertaker is, they carry coffins. The Undertaker is a character from WWE who for the past 4 decades has been at the top of the game. He's a supernatural type character and he's getting old now. And this match was about, he's getting old now. Can he still go with one of the young ones? And he did. And it was a cinematic style wrestling match, which hasn't really been done before. It's a new style that's been kicked in by the quarantine. So what they did is they went to a closed set on a graveyard and they just filmed a match. Yeah, it was very cinematic. It wasn't done like a live event, so it meant that they could protect themselves even more. But it's funny, it's cheesy, and it is pro wrestling at its core. Now, number 2, the other option for this weekend is that The Fiend Bray Wyatt beat John Cena in a Firefly Funhouse match. Now, you've heard of John Cena, I'm sure you have. All of this crap. John Cena was the face of the company for 10 years, something like this. He is the big boy. And The Fiend was destroyed by him 6 years ago. Okay, Bray Wyatt. So this Firefly Funhouse match is actually a retrospective on John Cena's career, about how he was a bully, about how he turned everything in the industry, about him and all of the other talent had to suffer because of it. Now it's the equivalent of Endgame for the Avengers, All right, it's 10 years of storytelling coming together at one point. And this guy, Bray Wyatt, was the man who came up with it, the performer that came up with the concept. If you've not seen anything pro wrestling, if you have seen something pro wrestling, if you know John Cena, if you don't know John Cena, if you like crazy, if you want to watch something that will just blow your mind, the Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania 36 is my top recommendation for wrestling, probably for the rest of this year. There will be other matches that I'll recommend throughout the next podcast, but these are just 2 reasons that you should watch wrestling, because I watch wrestling and I love wrestling. All right, let me know if you check it out. I'll post the links in the description below, but that is just another thing that I wanted to chat about. All right, so we've gone for the exercising physically. I'm also going to talk about exercising mentally. Now, I am pretty mental right now. I've been talking to myself for 40 minutes straight at this point. I didn't think I was able to do it. But exercising mentally is also important. For me, I've been doing it through the form of Dungeons and Dragons. All right, it's some kind of mental engagement that isn't just staring at a screen. Something for you to do, something for you to think about and get creative yourself. So I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons. All right, now, for a brief explanation, Dungeons and Dragons is a set of rules that you use to play a tabletop game. Now, all those rules are that you will have a set of dice, and if you want to do something in game, you roll the dice to see if you are able to. So, my character is a dwarf, and the dwarf wants to mine some ore. So, I roll the 20-sided dice, a d20, and I say, I want to hit the rock with my pick and try and get some ore. Yeah, we get some ore. The dungeon master will set a check and say, okay, you must roll a 10 or above in order to get the ore. All right, so the dice represent what you can and can't do. They represent damage. They represent the progression of the game. And what you can do in Dungeons and Dragons is completely up to you and your character. Now, the best part of it for me is actually creating these characters. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can either roll for a character, where you have a set of guidelines in a book. You roll a 1, and the character is a bad guy. You roll a 2, character's kind of bad. A 3, neutral. 4, is kind of good. 6, they're a good character, yeah? For example, are they tall? You roll a 1, they're not tall. You roll a 20, they're tall, you know? Do they like elves? Roll a 1, they do. Roll a 20, they don't, for example. But all of these rules can be changed and rolled differently so that you can have a huge selection of characters. I've created a tiefling warlock. Now, a tiefling is a demon type character. I got a horn, I got a scarred head, and I got a broken horn. Zornon the Blazon. Now, Zornon the Blazon is just rolled. I just rolled some dice, and it's told me which things to pick, which character traits my character has, and then I write those traits on the sheet and play the game with him. It's as simple as that. I've been playing 2 games, really. The Curse of Strahd, we are doing a campaign for it, me and a few friends. It's a good set play to sort of get started with. It's vampires, Edgar Allan Poe style, dark manners and foggy rooms, foggy towns and stuff like this. But that's what we're playing now. I'm just setting this mode. We're hunting a vampire, maybe. There's wolves involved. It's fun. It's just 4 or 5 hours of us rolling dice and saying, I wonder what my character would do if this happened. And trying to play that character, you know. It's a new kind of acting and theatre. It's kind of improv. It's kind of not. It's something fun. If you've not got into it, I highly recommend you try and start playing some Dungeons and Dragons during this quarantine time. There are lots of one-shot games where you can just jump in and somebody has created a character for you already, and there is a set campaign for maybe 2 or 3 hours where you can just see if you like the way the game goes. If you can picture it in your head, you'll probably enjoy it. If you're not very imaginative, then still there are ways you can enjoy it. You can write everything down yourself. There can be visual aids. You can get in costume for it. There are so many ways to play Dungeons and Dragons and so many different games based off of it that you can play. There's even a wrestling one. All right. So that's me. That's Ryan Prazer. That is all for the first ever episode of the R3 podcast. I am going to get a drink and get a smoke and chill. Maybe play some Fortnite. And then later I will be playing some Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. So thank you for listening. If there's anything you know I have or do that you want me to talk about, whether it's my poetry, acting, music, whatever it is, let me know in the comments or email me. In the meantime, please stay healthy, stay respectful, and wash your bleeding paws. All right? I'm going to get and do a song for you in 5 minutes. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the song and stay safe.